I represent a district that was once held by Lyndon Johnson. And on the Houston end of my district in the suburbs, I represent many Johnson Space Center employees and contractors. I know in our reauthorization we restored a lot of funding for human spaceflight in spite of this administration's attempt to kill that. And I guess as you present this budget, and as I go back home to my district, they will want to know what is their future. And so I guess what I'm asking you is, what am I to tell them when they ask me about contracts related to human spaceflight, about the future of human spaceflight program? And I know these are some of your dearest friends. But what am I to tell my constituents who are part of the Johnson Space Center?
Congressman, you should tell them that the future of human spaceflight is bright and robust, and that we need their help in rapidly developing new systems so that we can go explore. This nation has not ventured beyond the moon with humans. We've been saying we were going to do it forever. I get chastised when I talk about wanting to go to Mars. I want to go to Mars. When I came into the astronaut office in 1980, I thought I would fly on the shuttle a couple of times, and then I would be among those that would be returning to the moon. And then Challenger happened. And my dream of ever going to another planet went away. I don't want that for my grandkids. So I need their help. We have got to develop commercial capability to get to low Earth orbit so that we can continue to support the International Space Station. That's our moon right now. That's where we do technology development. That's where we do medical research. That's where we do things to make life better on Earth. We don't, contrary to what people think, NASA doesn't do stuff just for astronauts. Most of what we do is return to Earth in terms of benefits for humankind. And I can go down you all can do it yourselves. You can look at an EMT ambulance that has the developments that were put in place for the Apollo program, wireless communications. Congresswoman Johnson listed a whole bunch of them in her opening remarks. The nation needs to become unafraid of exploration. We need to become unafraid of taking risks. Is it a risk to go with commercial entities? For me, no more risk than anything else, because I've always, every rocket I've flown on, I've only flown on 4 times, but 3 was built by a commercial entity. You know, it was Rockwell when it started, and when I finished, I think it was Boeing, maintained by USA, United Space Alliances.
If I could just ask one last, because my time's running out, and I appreciate your passion. I know you're very passionate about returning to the moon, and I would hope that I could work with you in terms of restoring the morale of some of the employees at the Johnson Space Center and assure them that there is a bright future ahead. And I think we in the Congress have a responsibility to make sure you have the resources to do this. You mentioned in your testimony, if I'm correct, that it would be 2030 before we could get back to the moon. It's been 42 years since we landed on the moon. President Kennedy set the goal of by the end of the decade, less than 10 years we were on the moon in 1969. I think a lot of people wonder why now it will take almost 20 years to get back to the moon. Most Americans, they don't understand when we landed there, so long ago, why has it taken so long to get back? Because like you, I agree with and you're very passionate about it, with the goal that eventually we are going to have to go back to the moon and beyond. So perhaps if you could explain that to me and the American people.
Congressman, I need to correct one thing. It would not take us until 2030 to go to the moon. If we decided that we wanted to go to the moon and put humans there, that potentially could be done by the end of this present decade. But that is not one of the targets that has been produced either by the Congress or the President. Mm-hmm. What has been set forth as targets are 2025 to an asteroid, and then the 2030s to be able to get to Mars, with a follow-on landing. The reason we have not been there is because that's not been a goal of the nation, and we were content to stay in low Earth orbit, which is hard, but the nation has not. It has not been something that the nation thought was important.
Well, I know the prior administration, President Bush, did set that as a goal: the moon, Mars, and beyond. And so I think that was at one point in time the goal for NASA. And Mr. Chairman, I hope we can work together to perhaps restore that vision and that goal in the Congress, which I think is so vitally important, and I know, Administrator, you agree with. So with that, I yield back. Thank you.
I thank you.